Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Rock and Roll Research Podcast. I'm Matt Valley. This is the extreme metal version where we welcome the super cool people in research and insights and software engineering in this case. So today's guest is my friend, Elena Erofeeva, who is a software engineer by day, but I know her as the host of the longest running metal radio show in the world, Root of All Evil, of KFAI.
Stupid bands like this one.
Yes.
State of Mind, like some losers out of Texas.
some loser band called State of Mind has been on that.
Yep.
I think I know those guys. Anyway. So KFAI, yeah, it's broadcast out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Root of All Evil, KFAI Fresh Air Radio. It's been running for some 30 plus years.
38.
Yeah.
I think 38.
Yeah, 38. Wow.
I could be wrong.
Elena is one of the hosts, and that's how I know her. She's an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to extreme metal and all that good stuff. So welcome to the show, Elena. Great to have you.
Oh, okay. So guys, first of all, I do like being truthful, and this is number 2. So what you're seeing right now is a result of mistake. When we recorded when we didn't record an hour-long amazing conversation during which Matt and I have discovered new depths of our friendship. But all of that heart-to-heart and display of history of metal and the show and etc. is lost to internet. So this is 20 minutes of making up.
Okay.
I'm gonna take on very quick introduction. Okay, so originally I am from Russia, East Coast. A lot of people think like if you're from Russia, you're from Moscow. No, I'm Magadanskaya Oblast, Magadan region. It's kind of like almost across from Alaska, but a little bit south. It's a small region that is just a little bit larger than Texas, one of the bigger ones in the country. And my southern city is also on the East Coast, but south on Chinese border, it's called Khabarovsk. I got into metal. I didn't even know it was metal. I was listening to Scorpions, and I'm like, oh wow, this is a really melodic kind of rock. It's cool. And everybody around me was listening to Metallica and Nirvana. I was in school. I was like 13 years old. And here's a quirk of my personality. If everybody loves something, I'm not gonna touch it because I feel so much pressure to make an opinion. But like, what if I'm weird with my opinion and I'm already weird? I cannot handle my own weirdness. No. So instead, I got into power metal because a friend of mine brought brand new record from Blind Guardian at the time. That's 95. The record was called Imaginations from the Other Side, and he's like, this, you have to listen. I'm like is it famous? He's like, oh no one have heard it yet. This is awesome, but this is not like the stuff they listen to. This is best thing, and it's like so on the ground. It's from Germany. I'm like, sure, plug it in. And the intro comes, it grabs me. I frankly speaking did not feel the jump from like Scorpions, King Crimson, and other weird shit I was listening to that like, oh, this is somehow extreme. The growling vocals, like that separation enhance his voice, did take a little bit for me to learn to listen to, but there was so much more going on there that like you can, it was actually funny. My dad taught me how to listen to music way before I needed to use it. He used to sit me down and be like, he would play like Pink Floyd or King Crimson or Alan Parsons Project and be like, okay, listen to the guitar. Like listen to guitar line, don't listen to anything else. And now, okay, let's play this song again or play this like 30 seconds again, and you listen to the bass, what bass does. So like by the time I was 13, I could separate that in my head pretty damn well. That record was devoured, listened mostly at night because my parents were like, my dad was like, why don't you listen to normal music, Deep Purple and Nazareth? What the hell is that? And my mom was like, that's noise, and you should think of your grades. I'm a straight A student at the time. One of the shining hopes of the school. I go to all at math Olympiad, physics Olympiad, all the STEM shit, get my second, first, third place, whatever. but it's always in my house. It's always like, you should think of your grades. What do you think about? What did you think about wearing that sweater? You should think of your grades. What do you think about eating that yogurt? You should think of your grades. So yeah, I was supposed to think of my grades, and Hansi Kirsch was interfering with it. So anyhow, that was my introduction. Very quick. Right around that time, I got into Fear Factory. It was gorgeous.
Fear Factory, yeah.
And yeah, Fear Factory. It's like it wasn't like oh, here's this power metal, and then there is this other metal. It was like, well, there is Blind Guardian and guys who sound like them. And then there is Fear Factory and nobody who sounds like them. And then there is Offspring, which is also cute, and Prodigy and Chemical Brothers, which is not sounding like anybody either. But you can play them all together, and it's kind of cool, which what we did during our graduation dance. It was like that kind of mishmash of music going straight from Breathe For Me, Prodigy, to Imaginations from the Other Side, and nobody gave. Like, yeah, sure, here we are jumping and dancing, and here we are slamming. It's fine, And then I come to the United States, and I'm kind of shocked that people are concerned about those distinctions, and they call one thing extreme metal and the other one rave. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Head blown. Yeah, so that's the story of me and extreme metal, which I still don't think is extreme. I mean,
okay, so but in parallel, right? So you're discovering all of this music,
yeah,
your passion for it.
Yeah. In parallel, I also do computers.
And you do computers. So how did that happen?
My dad built a third computer in my region when I was about 4 years old. So he built it by soldering stuff to a chunk of what later became a motherboard, and then soldering a whole bunch of other stuff. And then that thing was, it was like somewhere between when I was 3 and I was 4. Computer was in our house. You could type in your name, and it would say "Hello, Matt," or "Hello, Elena," whatever.
Did you
And
say
people,
third computer in your region?
Yep. First one was running weather. The other one was running some kind of ballistic calculations for military base that never did any kind of fighting, but still need computer to run ballistic calculations or whatever they were running. Top secret shit. And third one is my apartment. Saying "Hello, Matt."
All right.
Yeah. So my dad is highly technical, pretty cool guy. He is way retired right now. He doesn't live on the East Coast anymore. Him and my mom moved to the city of Kaluga, just outside of Moscow, about 300 kilometers away.
Okay.
And he picked up a wonderful hobby for a retired man. Like of all possible, he's a retired guy who just moved away from harsh environment and demanding job as a software person himself, and etc. And his hobby right now is 3D printing drones and racing them.
Oh, cool.
That's what he does. He designs drones, prints them, and plays them. And it's like, okay, well, you go, Dad. We are all engineers.
Okay.
Like, did you think about jigsaw puzzle or garden? I don't know, baking. No, drones. Which he learned all by himself. It was kind of interesting adventure to see him go through, but in just a couple of years, he's gone from not knowing what is this buzzy thing to having people call him from outside of the country and asking his advice. He was like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so software engineering, given that I grew up with computer, and computer was a big part of family budget. And then I come to the United States, and the question comes of like, well, with the exchange rate, what it was in early 2000s between Russia and the US, my parents couldn't send me money at all in whatsoever.
Right.
So I need to pay for everything. Everything myself, and try to send money home and whatnot. And like, oh, I know BASIC, and I kind of know C#, and I kind of know C++, and people will pay me for this shit. Wow. So yeah, I started doing that kind of stuff, and one thing leads to another. Next thing, I'm a keyboard for hire. I like a friend of mine called me computer gun for hire. I'm like, no, it's a keyboard for hire. It's like two people meet on the street, and right at the strike of midday, beep up and just start typing.
This town is only big enough for one of us.
Oh man, yes. It's high noon somewhere in the world. As
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's talk about the root of all evil, right? So just a little editorial.
Oh
on
god, Root of All Evil, huge ass metal show.
Yes.
Hours, 38 years, at least 38 years. Have gone through several hosts. You grew up listening to Earl. Earl was still running it, yes?
Yep.
How was it?
Rest in peace.
How was it?
It was fantastic. I mean, Earl he's the godfather of Twin Cities metal, right? And he's had a larger than life kind of personality, right? So it's kind of like, because it was 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Sundays, it was sort of like the church of metal. So it was awesome.
And you sleep in the real church. Yeah.
Yeah, but Earl passed away. How long has it been now?
Oh God, 10 years.
10 years.
I don't know.
10 years. So how did you find your way to the program? Keeping it alive after all these years.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a very, very, very short thing there. I was interested in metal, which once again I didn't think about as metal. Like right now, when I plop in Blue the Snort, for example, I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna get into extreme French black metal, avant-garde. I'm thinking like I'm gonna get into Blue the Snort. I really want to hear what they've done on this album. Just don't think about genre necessarily. You're gonna think about what these guys do. So to listen to that all through grad school, various jobs, especially there was one time when I was living in one town and working and studying 30 miles away. So doing that track twice a day gives you a lot of time to listen to shit. And then I come to Minneapolis for job and live here. And at KFAI, I joined KFAI. I did a little bit of a news there for a while. They did a thing where for March 8th, International Women's Day, they were inviting women to do a show.
Okay.
And I remember looking at the roster for a day, and maybe that year was especially dry, but it was like, okay, everybody is playing folk music or some kind of R&B or some kind of soft. And like, you know what, why don't I just go and like, I can cobble together an hour of female-fronted metal. And yes, female-fronted metal is a dirty name, people. No, don't use it. But that's how I thought at the time, almost 10 years ago.
Right.
And I cobble together an hour. I apply for that slot. I get the slot. I'm doing the show, and door opens, and some kind of long-haired head pops through the door, and it's like, "Who are you?" And I'm thinking, government knows who I am. My friends know who I am. You have no right to be asking me that question. So I told him off. Turns out it was then host of Root of All Evil, so not Earl, the next guy. There were several next guys, but that one was one of them. Tim Honeybrink, and he was curious about what I was doing, so he invited me to be part of the show then.
Okay.
Fast forward, yeah. So I did like once every other week segment. They had gothic rock, gothic metal, symphonic metal. Used to be called When Death She Sings. Cool. I got my name during that time, Mara the Death. That's my radio name. And then things go sour a little bit. I leave the show, just becomes too stressful, too weird, too unpredictable. My life moves on as well, whatever. So I leave the show. I take that segment and make it Shadow Planet, which at the time was a web program, basically playing same music, but on the web. Web exclusive, as they call it, KFAI. And I'm still active on KFAI. So one sunny morning, I'm there at 10 a.m. substituting for a world music show.
Okay.
I'm speaking some reggae, some African stuff, some samba, and enjoying my life immensely, frankly speaking. It's wonderful. It's fun music. You dance to it, whatnot. Once again, the door opens, pops in ahead, this time of the music director, programming director who is like, Elena, do you want to do rootable level? Like, what? It's like, there are things, there are changes. Somebody needs to do rootable level. So this is Wednesday morning. Rootable level is legendary heavy metal show that is on Saturday night. 5 hours. 5 effing hours. I'm like, oh my God, I am like, I asked him, it is obvious this is emergency. They need a sub now. So that first night, it was me and my husband doing it. The week after that, once again, we were doing it, plus a couple other people joined us. And by third week, we had a team. Then we realized that the legacy was still alive, but the most recent history of the show meant that we have to reapply, and people are not necessarily excited about it as they were. Like, they really feel like it ended with Earl. And by then I feel that I start to feel not just weight of responsibility, I just feel that this is once in a lifetime. I don't want to say once in a lifetime, how to say it. This is 1 in a million. This show is 1 in a million. And I'm dead serious. At absolute most, I can be a custodian. At absolute, like, this will never become my show. At absolute most, I can do everything possible to make it survive past me. So from day one, when we reapplied for the show, that we had to do a written application, demo, etc., etc. It was a whole different story of the demo. I will tell it very shortly because it's a new one. I didn't tell it to you. We record the demo, half an hour for each hour of the show. So we did like 2.5 hours basically. And among that, we want, we're supposed to sound intelligent. So we talk about Napalm Death and we talk about Cathedral, obviously 2 bands related. Mm-hmm. And of course, demo is being listened by a programming committee, including president of the KFAI board. And this is all in atmosphere where the KFAI community is not sure that the show needs to go on.
Right.
They don't hate it, but they're cautious. Thus, we are specifically instructed to keep it clean. And we keep it clean, even though the show is during a safe harbor when, some swearing within the songs is allowed. The hosts better not, but songs can.
Right.
And we are playing Cathedral, and there is line, your fucking wars. And I come in situation where I have to fly to Seattle to deal with some immigration documents. I wasn't illegal. I was entirely legal, but I had to update my passport. Okay. And the only freaking place you could do it in the country is Seattle. So I'm flying from Minneapolis to Seattle, kind of in a rush. It's expensive, plus dealing with immigration is always nerve-wracking. I am there the night before my interview for the passport, in hotel. My phone rings, I pick it up. It's the president of the board who actually was on our side during the time. And she's like, Elena, what the fuck are you thinking? I'm like, what? What the fuck are you thinking submitting this? I just listened to it. What the fuck are you thinking? I'm like, like, there is a swear word. Like, what? Swear word? Where? 5 people listen to that damn thing together and separate. And we didn't catch it. We all read the lyrics. Like, it's just like how that F word slipped in there. Nobody knows. So, about 2 a.m., blessed be the internet, about 2 a.m. in hotel room, downtown Seattle, I am editing the F word out of our demo. Because the next day it goes over to programming committee who's supposed to listen to it and vote on give or not give us the slot. Oh, and to be dead honest, they probably would have given it to us anyway. But I wanted to leave nothing to chance.
Yeah. Hey, you saved the show. You saved the root.
I probably didn't need that level of saving. It probably could have paid itself just fine. But there was like, even if there is like a sliver of doubt, I don't want to have the sliver. Slivers are good for almonds, not for doubts. So that's the story of how we applied. We got permission to continue. We contacted widow of Earl Root, Nancy Root. She gave us thumbs up for using the name of the show.
Oh, great.
some expectation from community, which people like literally would call and say, so who are you? Me. How did you know Earl Root? Like, we don't know you. How did you know him? I'm like, I didn't. I never met the guy. Then what are you doing? Like, I'm running a show. I'm on the mic and there are several people in the studio and we are running the show. Okay, you're doing a good job. Like, okay, thank you. Continue on with Monopalm, Death and Slayer and what the heck not. But there was an expectation community that one of us will become Earl, or like all of us somehow will become collective Earl, which is not possible. I was only hoping to, we are all adults, we have jobs. We need to be able to not work every single night of the month. It's hard. Doing like 2 or 3 shows of that in a row it's hard.
Right.
It's kind of like people come in, even when people say like, oh, you listen to metal. Well, I listen to power metal, symphonic metal, some thrash, some black metal, lots of folk metal.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody like your buddy, Josh Kerriman, is a huge connoisseur of thrash and death.
Right.
Somebody like one of our co-hosts now on Root of All Evil, named Nate, is a tour of groove metal. He knows that genre better than anybody.
Right.
So it's like, okay, everybody has their strength. Yep. And depending on who is hosting the show, you're going to get a little bit different flavor. Mm-hmm. Like some people do themed nights, some people do like really stick to the formula of first hour is old school, second hour is death metal, third hour is doom, fourth is black metal, and fifth hour is fluffy. Fluffy stuff. Which, once again, could be symphonic or could be Zappa, or both.
Yeah.
I'm not on air right now because I have a kid.
Yeah.
5 hours of a night metal show with a kid. So I'm focusing on Shadow Planet. I'm extremely happy at how Root is doing. It's a case of I don't know what will bring, if something will, what can bring the juggernaut down at this point. Because in reality, we had several people leave and several new people come in. The show goes on. So in a sense of take the show that was so personality based and achieved legendary status, yes. But people were curious, how can it go on after the person walks away or passes on? And now it's this smorgasbord, it's this whole cast of people there, but it's unsinkable.
I just love it. I love what you've done with the show because it's
everybody there is just putting all of their heart, mind, and internal organs into it.
It's just so cool that the show meant so much to me when I was a kid, and it's still going, and the reception is better because I can stream it online, and of course it brought us together. I had a chance to meet you because I was honored to be the guest on your program in 2019. So.
Yep, and it was amazing. We had a wonderful conversation. You guys just played the gig and you still smelled like a band who just played the gig. And then the fire alarm went off and that's a whole different story.
December in Minneapolis, 3 a.m, fire alarm. Hey,
why not? Awesome. Yeah, no, we also did this thing on the Root. We did a tribute to Earl Root now 3 years in a row, where for one day we take over airwaves for 24 hours. So it's literally 24 hours. It's a Thursday before Memorial Day for the last 3 years. Nothing but metal, straight through midnight to midnight. It's insane. I was there when we first started. I remember driving in, being in an elevator, going up, and I'm like, okay, at midnight we are on. Met the Bridge Throw, one of the hosts, and Dark Mistress, another host. They were the first one to go on. We were just kind of hanging in the background. But I remember the goosebumps, and we were there for most of the day. helping out, hanging out, making pancakes. Actually, we set up a little grill in the next room and made pancakes and fed the guests and the hosts.
Yeah.
And at 10 p.m., I finally sat down in a big studio where bands usually play that is adjacent to a broadcast studio. I sat down on the floor there and just hold myself like this and like, I can't believe it. It is. It's still going on for 2 more hours, but it's obviously tradition is born. We are going to honor our founder. We are going to honor metal community of Twin Cities, past, present, future.
Yep.
We are going to honor all the listeners because we had people call from Hawaii, from California, from, you called from Dallas. It just was like, incredible. So, and I mean, also honor KFAI who gives us a chance to do it, because how many small independent stations in this country, they'll be just like, oh yeah, sure, take over.
Yeah.
Or how many big corporate stations would do it also,
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's metal all day long. It's so much fun when that comes around.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So software engineer by day, radio host by night, and a music lover your whole life. So I have to finish with this with this question, Elena. I have to know.
Please sing. I'll listen.
Okay. I got no song for you, but I do have a question. So you're stranded on a desert island, right? You have
Once again, you're asking me that.
I gotta ask it. So you have 3 records to keep you company for the rest of your days. What are they?
I'm gonna give you a different answer from last time because I'm bored. But once again, dear listeners, when you're recording the interview, do push the record button, okay, FYI, because otherwise your guest is gonna F with your mind and not give you the same answer. I'm gonna use this opportunity to promote 3 brand new records that right now occupy my mind. So they're not necessarily the ones I would take on the desert island, but they are the ones that you might if you discover them. So there is a prog black metal band out of UK called Sea Mosquito. Seriously, Sea Mosquito. So they have a album EP that is a single track, 23 minutes long, called Fire Magic Venom. It's like Pink Floyd had love moment with Bluetooth Snort. I'll leave it at it's amazing. It is amazing. That is really cool. Came out fairly recently. There is, I am a fan of symphonic metal, obvious, and Wisdom, a band out of France that doesn't put out that many records, but they do work on they really put a lot of work into every single one. Okay. They have kind of unique take. I would say it's kind of like Epica, slightly dial back the symphonic and polyphonic nature of Epica and put a little bit more prog and technicality into it. So they have a record coming out on September 17th called Of Wonders and Wars.
Yeah.
And there is a band out of Israel, not the Orphaned Land that everybody knows, but they're called Stardust. And it's actually funny because they play, so Israeli metal scene is not very large. And the country is small, the scene is also not very large. So everybody there kind of plays in each other's bands. These guys trade members with Orphaned Land quite a bit during the live shows. They play together with them quite a bit. Hopefully they can tour once, the touring comes for real. They're called Stardust, and they last year recorded and put out an album called Strangers. Noah, who is the lead singer, she has like the first album they did, the first couple albums they did, they were more or less straight up symphonic, like symphonic with some prog, which means, the vocal is symphonic, the guitar and instrumentation is more prog. On this one, she does like jazz singing and does the scat and etc. and how it all sounds, and it's very urban sounding prog metal. So it's not Dream Theater, it's something completely else. And I'll leave it at that. Enjoy.
Okay.
Maybe one of these will make on your Desert Island collection.
All right. Well, I've got 2 new records to check out. I'm grateful for that. And
And you want to talk new music, man? Like, who cares about us? We're here for the tune. We're
absolutely.
here for the hits, man. Hits.
All right. So you granted me this additional time because I
Yeah.
neglected to hit record when we had this awesome conversation.
I know this time you hit it because I see the button. The little red thing.
That's right. The button is on, but I'm super grateful for your time. It's always great to catch up, of course.
It was fun.
Next time I come to town, I'm gonna crush your radio show if I can.
Please do. I mean, will I be there? Will I not be there? It all depends, but the show definitely will be there, and you are definitely most welcome.
Awesome. Super cool. Thanks so much, Elena. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
All right. Got it that time.
This time we did it. Yeah.